Marshmallows! Alright, so I've got my marshmallows. I was kind of expecting these to come out of the bag, but they're all sort of stuck together like this big wall of marshmallows, so I guess I will leave them undisturbed. And let's see how many of these I can eat without choking. Only 7. I was really thinking, wow, there are these marshmallows, I can take this challenge, I can get at least double digits, but no, by 7 I seriously couldn't breathe. Punishment served. Obviously this week there's a pretty big scientific reveal from NASA that there are arsenic-based life forms, which means that the possibility of non-carbon-based life forms has been confirmed. The Doctor Who had confirmed this a long time ago in an episode known as The Hand of Fear. So in honor of that, I am going to continue list week with my list of interesting scientific stories which do not involve arsenic-based life forms, to the best of my knowledge, that is. 1. Scientists have created a supernova in a jar. Scientists from the University of Toronto and Rutgers University have been able to mimic a supernova, which is basically like a stellar explosion, an exploding star, in a container. While supernovas can be bright enough to outshine galaxies, they kind of are hard to study because they are light years away. They're triggering a certain set of chemical reactions within some sort of vessel. I'm not actually sure what it looked like. They have been able to mimic a supernova, which should help scientists study the fluid movements that are associated with supernovas. I know very little about how this works, but it sounds cool, too. Dolly the sheep is still alive! Well, not really. 4 genetically identical clones of Dolly are alive. This week, Professor Keith Campbell, Professor Keith, I keep thinking of him like Bandit Keith, in America, revealed during a lecture that he had helped create 4 genetically identical clones of Dolly. Dolly, of course, famously was the first mammal to be cloned from adult cells in 1996, but she was put down in 2002. Professor Keith has said that these sheep are not showing signs of arthritis or many of the lung problems that Dolly had. Out of 277 eggs, Dolly was the only one that survived. Well, this time, out of 5, 4 survived, showing definite progress. Keith does credit this success on improved technology, though he says that the process of cloning from adult cells is still imperfect. 3. I hear it's a magic number. Skinks have been caught evolving. Skinks are basically lizard-like creatures. Well, they don't have defined necks, and they have very short limbs. Some don't even have limbs. But the yellow-bellied skink has been caught in evolution. Usually skinks lay eggs. Depending on where the yellow-bellied skink does this, it can be like in a coastal region or a mountain region. It kind of has an effect on the offspring. Its chances of survival are higher when it's in a more favorable warm temperature, like in a coastal region, as opposed to a mountainous region. So it's been shown that amongst these yellow-bellied skinks in Australia, some who are in unfavorable conditions will, instead of laying their eggs, keep their young internally and give birth to them. They're kind of transitioning between egg laying and live birth. I guess this isn't something completely unheard of. I believe that this sort of ability to lay eggs and give live birth has been observed in another species of skink and some sort of European lizard. My last list for list week, but I've got a few notes on the channel. Just if you're watching this on our actual channel page, you may have noticed that it looks a bit different. Perhaps a bit like this, but I assure you this is only temporary. And right now I'm trying to make something a little bit nicer looking, a little bit more professional for our channel graphics. I'm using GIMP, which is something I've never used before. I'm pretty accustomed to Photoshop, but GIMP is kind of like a free online downloadable version of Photoshop, if Photoshop had gotten a lobotomy. Also, next week's theme will be winter. Not necessarily anything Christmas, just winter week. Alright, see you tomorrow. Well, dried muscles.